July 23rd, Mincaye. Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. Mincaye is a man with a history. Here's what happened. Missionary pilot Nate Saint and 4 other missionaries were killed when they tried to befriend the Waodani tribe, which, at that time, was known as the most violent society on earth. The Waodani culture was eventually changed by the gospel of Christ, brought to them by a small group of missionaries and a Waodani woman who had fled the tribe and later returned to teach her people about Jesus. Mincaye was one of the spear-wielding tribesmen who had killed the missionaries years earlier. On this date, in the year 2000, Mincaye was in the United States visiting Steve Saint when tragedy struck. When your life has been transformed, be intentional. Give back. Deep in the jungles of Ecuador, a Waodani warrior named Mincaye befriended a skinny 9-year-old boy named Steve Saint. Mincaye called him Bebe. 4 years earlier, Mincaye and some other warriors had surrounded and murdered the boy's father, missionary Nate Saint. Now the boy had come back to the jungle to visit the current missionaries. "The boy can't make poison darts or use a blowgun," Mincaye told the boy's aunt. "He can't pull a canoe, he can't build a house or climb trees or track animals. He doesn't know anything. Who's going to teach him to live?" The boy's aunt looked Mincaye in the eye and asked him, in light of the fact that Mincaye had speared the boy's father to death, "Who do you say should teach him to live?" Mincaye walked away. When she had first told Mincaye about the Creator's son, Mincaye had said he could not see the Creator's trail. Then Jesus' blood cleaned him, and Mincaye began to see like a clear sky with no clouds in it. Mincaye returned and told her, "I, having spear-killed his father, I myself will teach Bebe how to live." During school vacations, when Bebe visited, Mincaye treated him like family. The boy learned to hunt monkeys, to spear fish, and to climb tall trees. Mincaye helped Steve become a man. Later, Steve married and brought his family to live with Mincaye and his people in Ecuador. Mincaye adopted Steve's children as his grandchildren, and he even helped baptize them. They called him Grandfather Mincaye, a name Mincaye welcomed with a smile. After Steve's family moved to Florida, Grandfather Mincaye would visit them occasionally. During one of his visits, the unthinkable happened. Steve's only daughter, Stephanie, collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. She had suffered a brain aneurysm. As medical personnel rushed about, Mincaye became agitated, while Steve sat frozen in disbelief. Mincaye grabbed him and said he saw what was happening well. "Don't you see? The Creator, who loves Stephanie, is taking her to live with him now." Mincaye said, "Being an old man, I will go live there too very soon. Stephanie and I will be there waiting, happily, to greet you." The anguish on Steve's face remained, but the hopelessness faded. When it was time to return to the jungle, it was hard for Mincaye to leave. Steve and his family still had to do the hard work of healing from Stephanie's death, and Mincaye felt responsible for being part of the healing process. Still, Mincaye couldn't stay in Florida forever, so he returned to his village. One day, while back in the jungles of Ecuador, Mincaye had a premonition that Steve had been hurt. People told Mincaye that Steve was fine, but Mincaye asked them to phone America. Mincaye was right. Steve was involved in a tragic accident that left him without the use of his arms and legs. Mincaye and his wife traveled back to Florida, where they cared for Steve and comforted his family. They stayed with the Saints for 6 weeks. One Sunday, Mincaye went to church with the family. Steve sat in a space reserved for wheelchairs, and when it was time for communion, Mincaye rushed to help him. He grabbed one handle of the wheelchair, and Steve's son Jamie grabbed the other. 3 generations made family by the blood of Jesus celebrated communion together. As Mincaye prepared to return to the jungle, Steve was filled with sadness. There was a time when he had longed for the presence of his father, whom Mincaye had killed. Now he longed for the presence of the man who killed his father, grandfather Mincaye, the man who taught him how to live. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 2 says, "Walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God." This story teaches us that God's love can turn enemies into friends and friends into family. When your life has been transformed, be intentional. Give back.
Hello, this is John Ramstead, and I am the CEO of Beyond Influence, and I'm also the host of the Eternal Leadership Podcast. In 2005, a movie came out called The End of the Spear, and it was about this tribe, and they were incredible. They were known to be the most violent in the world, and missionaries came in there and killed them all. And the son of that missionary who had been killed by this group, knowing that they're the most dangerous people in the world, Steve, came back because God put it on his heart to minister to these people, and they were able to share the gospel. And over time, the gentleman or the person who had killed Steve's father, Mincaye, became absolutely in love with Christ, and not only converted from being this deadly warrior to being a church elder, and not only just a church elder, but his relationship with Steve, and he had killed his father, became this living testament to forgiveness. And that story has stayed with me ever since. And here's why, and it's the challenge for today. God is a God of love, unconditional love and reconciliation and forgiveness. He weeds out that root of bitterness, which causes so much problem for us all. And if there's a place where you have unforgiveness or bitterness, or you've been wronged, I mean, Steve was wronged by Mincaye. Who is it in a life that you almost feel is almost like an enemy? You feel disconnected. Here's the challenge. Pray for them. Don't curse them. Pray for them. To love, to forgive, to reconcile in a way that maybe you could have an influence in their life the way Steve did. And it could be a phone call, an apology, a shared prayer, and just trust that God is going to weave redemption through your faithfulness. God bless.